My name's Gentry Davies. I'm a products director at Instructure, responsible for ARC. I've also worked on the Bridge team as well, and I love what we're doing with ARC. We have an incredible team. Really excited to talk to you about what it is. For those of you that have already heard me talk about ARC, I'm very sorry. You're going to hear a lot of the same lame jokes and stories. But hopefully it's interesting because everything is 0017 themed now, right? So it's a game changer here. So a little bit about myself, since no one wanted to intro me, and that's okay. I got my start in, just kidding, that was my choice. No one's being mean to me. I got my start in product management at Ancestry.com. Really excited to be working with living people now, but Ancestry was awesome. I really enjoyed it, really incredible company, and I kind of fell into product management backwards because I didn't know how to code. That's a real story. I finished an internship and they thought, what are we going to do with you? And they said, we'll make you an associate engineer. And I said, that's a problem. So anyway, I found product management, but it turns out it's a lot of fun. I went to a little startup called Mastery Connect, had a lot of fun there and got to know the ed tech space and meet a lot of educators and got really passionate about education. My wife's a second grade teacher, and so there's a place that's near and dear to my heart there. And then I found Instructure about 2 years ago. Love what we're doing here. Product management, I think, fits my personality really well, not only because I don't have a lot of hard skills besides typing very fast, but because I just love talking to people. So what my job consists of is talking to people like you, trying to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish and make sure that we can deliver wonderful software that helps solve your problems. So that's my goal. We'll see if I've gotten there. But I just really love product management. My love language, and this is going to betray that I've never actually read the book or whatever this comes from, is actually chips. So if you guys are familiar with Slack is a really, it's a big company that's coming from a lot of tech spaces. You can do custom emoji in Slack. And so to do that, you just put colon and type the thing, the little code for the emoji, and then colon again, and it pops up the emoji. So in Instructure's Slack instance, this isn't a joke, if you type that in, you get Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar chips, which is like, I love that. So someone else did that, not me. So I'm a big fan of chips. It's kind of a problem. I'm also Canadian, so I love like the Canadian chips. So all dressed chips are delicious. And these just came to America, by the way. So like, things are looking good. Ketchup chips are also phenomenal. These are not nacho cheese Doritos, so don't be deceived. These are chili heat wave, and they will blow your mind. They're in the UK. You can get them on Amazon for like $6, and it's well worth it. Okay, I won't spend tons more time on chips, but this is important, I think. Off the cob tortilla chips. If anyone's heard of these were on Shark Tank a little while ago. They will blow your mind. I couldn't eat regular tortilla chips for like 6 months afterwards. They're made with like high-grade sweet corn, like off the cob, not like kind of lower-grade tortilla corn. Anyway, so between ethanol and like sweet corn, they're more on the sweet corn side. In Maine, they were trying to do the all-dress thing before they came down from Canada. Anyway, if you want to get onto my good side, chips are my love language. So, okay, you guys know me better than most people do now. So let's talk about ARC, because I think that's why you're here, not for my chip feelings, right? Okay. So ARC is our new video platform. I still say new because we launched it in October last year. I'm really excited about what we're doing in video. I'm sure you guys are as well. So I just want to talk about why we built ARC, what we're trying to accomplish, and then I'm going to talk about something we're really excited to be releasing this week that is, I think, going to be really helpful for a lot of you. So video is a huge deal. As you know, video is becoming more and more prevalent. We get a front row seat to this as Instructure because we have Canvas. We have so many people using Canvas for their courses. We can tell where people are bringing videos in from and what they're using them for. And it's really interesting. So we're watching this over time. Right now there's 12 videos per course in Canvas, and that's up from 11 last year. 60% of K-12 teachers report using video from the web to supplement their teaching. And I'm surprised it's only 60. I guess it's a little more than that. That might be a few years old. 50% of college students report going out to the web and finding video to supplement their own courses. So this isn't something they're being told to go do, but they're going out and finding videos to help augment their learning. We also, you guys can see this crazy graphic, and you print it out and put it on your wall because it's beautiful, right? But this is on arcmedia.com. If you go to the very bottom, there's an infographic link there. And there's a lot of other insights from the analysis that we've done. But what this is showing is across the top where videos are being brought into Canvas from, what platform those videos are being brought from, and then across the bottom, what role those videos are playing, so what parts of Canvas they're being used in, so whether they're interactive or whether they're content-based. But for the purposes of ARC, really what inspired us is looking at this top section. This, to me, shows a huge opportunity. We know that the majority of institutions have purchased at least one robust, wonderful video platform. But 95% of the videos that are embedded in Canvas come from direct file embeds, which we're calling Canvas Video here, YouTube, or Vimeo. And that's something that really got us thinking of why is that happening? There's a lot of tools out here that have a lot of additional features that do a lot more things. Why is it that the majority of videos embedded in Canvas are brought in from these tools? So I have some thoughts on that I'll get to in a little bit here, but this is something that inspired us to start thinking about ARC and about is there an opportunity for us to make it just as easy to embed videos using ARC as it is to use YouTube, Vimeo, or a direct file embed, but then also give you a huge pedagogical benefit. That's our goal. I'm going to take you guys back. This is a picture from my childhood. So I remember when I was in elementary school and I wasn't paying great attention. It worked out though. And I remember them wheeling in a TV cart and I was glued. You know, they had me because we were watching TV at school. Like, what's cooler than that? So this actually isn't a picture of me, but this is a good picture I found. So there was this thing where because video was, like the idea of watching TV in an educational context was so novel, like it worked. I still remember some terrible videos that I watched in elementary school because I was excited. So, you know, the fact that it was novel meant that it was engaging, and the fact that it was engaging meant it was successful. And this is kind of like we were a little bit cheating, right? Because, you know, it's video, so it's going to work. Even if it's like not a really great video, the fact that we were watching video in school meant that it was really going to stick. The bad news is that that's not really the case anymore. Video isn't intrinsically engaging, and there's a lot of stats that are staggering, sometimes depressing, about how much video usage is happening when you look at, you know, Instagram, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube. There's tons of platforms. And especially when you think about younger generation coming through K-12 institutions and into college, they're inundated with video. So this isn't something where they're saying, oh, goody, a video, because they've probably already watched a few videos that day. And so in a lot of ways, video has become a victim of its own success there. And what that means to me is that the same rules of good instructional design and pedagogical process apply. So we're back to kind of the starting board. This temporary thing of video being magical is over. Another thing that we're running into here is that the average attention span in 2015 was 8 seconds. Now this is a cool study, and I wish I was a part of it. Maybe we would have skewed this a little bit. What this is it's not saying that's as long as people can pay attention. This is saying this is how long people pay attention before they choose to pay attention. So in other words, if a video starts playing, I've got 8 seconds to be interested in this or I'm out. Now, if something's very interesting, we can go into what's called selective sustained attention, which can last 20 minutes or longer. And that's what we're really hoping for in education, is that we get people to pay attention and to work a little bit. But we have 8 seconds to get to that point. What's really scary about this is the same test was done in 2000, and it was 12 seconds. So for you math wizards out there, if this is linear, we're in a world of hurt here. I don't think it is linear. Okay, one more study I want to talk about here that I think is really cool. They wanted to assess the impact of video. As video becomes more and more common, people are asking, is this working? Is this going to happen? Is video as effective as in-person instruction? There's so many distance education opportunities, and we're making a huge difference there, but they wanted to study what the actual impact of video was. So they took a group of students and they had them attend a lesson and then take an assessment on that lesson, and on average they scored 92%. They recorded that exact same lesson and then showed that video to another randomly selected group of students and had them take the exact same assessment. So the only difference here is that instead of a person being up there talking, it's a TV screen. They're watching a video. And what do you guys think happened? There was a drop here, right? So we dropped down to 79%. Now, there's another thing I want to jump to real quick here. Oh man, if I don't have this in this deck, that's going to make me sad. Dang it. All right, I'm just going to have to say it from memory. Richard Clark said that the media are mere vehicles that don't influence instruction any more than a delivery truck impacts the nutrition of your food, which I thought was really cool, right? Which I think is true. So if media doesn't affect the efficacy of training, what's happening here? We've given this a lot of thought and believe that the reason there's a drop-off when you take an in-person lecture and then you record it and you show it electronically is because that is not the same. It's a fundamentally different instructional method. If I'm attending a lecture in person, there's an existential threat that someone's going to point at me and I'm going to have to say something in front of a bunch of people. And if I have a question, I can raise my hand and I can bug the people next to me and we can have conversations. And there's all of these mechanisms and all of these tools and things that are happening naturally in a class that don't generally happen in video. In video, it's generally a private experience. You're sitting there, you watch the video, and it's very much a consuming experience, not an immersive experience. And it turns out that consuming and reviewing information is not active learning, and it doesn't necessarily promote active learning. So I know I brought up a buzzword here. And so whenever I talk about buzzwords, I want to sort of dig into them a little bit. So let's talk about why active learning matters. You guys all know this, but I think it's a good review. This is a little snippet from a macro study that looked at a whole bunch of different research about active learning to try to validate, everyone's talking about this, everyone cares about active learning, but does it really matter? And what they found was, I'll just walk through one example here. They had a baseline assessment. It turns out only about 10% of their set of students understood force just to begin with. They had a traditional lecture that doesn't use active learning methods, where it was just sort of a stand and deliver thing. And after that, we have the gray bar here, so just over 20% of students understood. So that's some learning that was taking place, but not like tons of learning. You still have 100 students, 10 of them learned, 10 of them already knew, you got 80 that you missed. This white bar here is using these buzzwordy active learning methods. And so what that says to me is like, that's what I want, right? Isn't that what we all want to do? We want to make it so that in the instruction and the experiences that you guys are providing, we're creating as much opportunity for learning as possible. And so when you think about how we do that with video, what's actually occurring in active learning, I think this opens up a whole world of possibilities. This really informs the way that we think about ARC. So first of all, active learning, to get a little bit deeper, has been defined as anything that promotes analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So analysis, you get some information and then you think through it and you analyze it and you kind of piece it apart and try to break it down into a logical progression. Synthesis, you try to put this into your own words, summarize it, compare it to other things. Evaluation, you do a subjective interpretation of this and say, is this something I agree with? Is this important? Is this useful? So those are the three activities that we want to promote. Anything that you guys do as educators, if you can promote analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, your students are going to learn. And not only are they going to learn, they're going to learn at a much higher rate than they would otherwise, right? And so that's what we're trying to do with ARC here. All right, so we believe, and the approach that we've taken with ARC, is that you can promote active learning by helping your students collaborate with each other, even within a video context, by helping them actively engage with the content, so directly engaging with the content as opposed to having this be something that's sort of separated from them and unchanging, and then helping them interact with the video directly. We believe that if you can do these three things, you will be much more likely to promote active learning using video. That all make sense? Okay, awesome. So I want to go through a couple of examples, and I'm sorry I don't have, all of the screenshots here. I didn't get all the releases and stuff, but I want to talk through a couple that I'm really excited about. So this is one I heard about 6 months ago at Northwestern University. A teacher was using this in a criminology course, and what they did is they used they studied a case together, they broke out into pairs, and they had each pair record a video of themselves explaining what or giving the closing arguments to this case, whether it was for the prosecution or for the defense. They recorded a video of themselves, they posted it onto a discussion board in Canvas using ARC, and then the professor came through and commented on each of those videos and gave feedback. So at the end of the day, you had this awesome body of examples where each student could learn from how another student approached the problem and also see the instructor's feedback on that approach. It's a really powerful example. We're seeing this used in nursing programs where they're having to demonstrate skills or also model skills. It's a great way for the individual students to jump in and say, wait, hold on, what are you doing with your hand there? How are you doing this? Can you explain this some more? And engage with the content directly and kind of make those active things happen. Fine arts and music is just a phenomenal opportunity for modeling, to show someone how to do certain techniques and then also get feedback from them. Foreign languages is an obvious one. And through all of this, what we've found with ARC in our first 9 months or so is that student-submitted video is a critical piece of how people are using ARC. So ARC can supplement your content, where if you have a video, put it in ARC, and people can now directly engage with it, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. But beyond that, it's so easy to put video into ARC that we have a lot of instructors using this as a student submission flow, and I'll show you that as well. It's really exciting. Let me real quick review what we've done since last year, and then I'm going to show you guys just a very quick demo and then talk about what we're releasing this week. Since last year, we launched, we did it, and that was, a bigger thing than it sounds like. But we're really excited that we're out general release. We've got a lot of customers, and we're hearing really great things so far. You have the ability to reply to comments, which further makes this a more social experience. I can say something in the timeline, and then someone can respond, and we can have a whole conversation about it. You can now submit videos using the mobile app, which is awesome, because when you go to upload on the mobile app, it says, do you want to record a video, or do you want to choose one? And so you can record a video right there from the mobile app and submit that using ARC. You now have the ability to upload videos in bulk. You can drag 20 videos onto anywhere you see ARC, and it'll upload them all in a really nice way. You can now embed videos with comments disabled if you want to. There's certain circumstances where you may not want them to be talking to each other, like if it's in a quiz or something like that, but you're still very interested in knowing if they're watching the video. We also have audio file support. We're seeing people bring in podcasts and songs and that sort of thing, which has been a really powerful medium. We have YouTube support, so you can paste in a link from YouTube and it'll stream from there. And you're also able to get all the analytics and commenting that you have with ARC, but it's actually streaming from YouTube, and that's great, especially in K-12 where you're not necessarily sourcing all your own content. And we have the ability to log in with Canvas, which is really exciting. So if you ever want to share a video with somebody, when they get an email, they can click on that and log in with their Canvas account really easily. We have a course filter, which is exciting. If we use ARC to put videos into different courses, we separate all the comments and analytics by course, and this lets you really easily toggle between those, and I can show you guys what that looks like. And then repathing. This is the lamest sounding cool feature that we have. And this blows my mind. So when people are using Canvas Video or another platform and they choose to go with ARC, we can actually, as part of implementation, go through and pull all those videos into ARC, and then we can also go through all your content and replace those embeds with ARC embeds. So when we talk to people and they're like, oh crap, I love this, now I got to go talk to my people and get them to transfer all this content, we can do it all for you. So there's some magic there. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to show you what we're releasing here at Instructure Con, and then I'll show you a couple of these other things I mentioned. So I'm going to switch over. This is live demo time, which I'm super stoked about. So something that we have heard a lot is about captioning and making your content accessible, and that's something we're really committed to at Instructure. So as a first step in that direction towards assisting with captioning, we have automatic captioning that we're releasing this week. It's live for a subset of our customers, and it's rolling out over the next couple of weeks. And what this does is it uses speech technology to listen to the video, identify all the words in there, and create a caption file. This is included in your ARC license. So I'm going to show you what this looks like right now. I'm going to go ahead and request English captions here. I believe Nico is South African. Oh man, I'm going to go Australian. Okay, I know that's not the same, but they do pretty well across all dialects, even if you choose the wrong one here. So I'm going to go ahead and request that captions be generated. All I'm doing there is I'm choosing what language I want to request them in, and we support 15 different languages and dialects. As this comes, let's see if we've got captions ready to go here. Okay, so these are now ready for review and publishing. So the accuracy here is about 90%. I'm trying to undersell this in the product. I said 85% in there, but in our testing it was closer to 90%. So you're going to have to correct about every 10th word. But we're really happy with this partner that we're using to do the speech technology. They stood head and shoulders above everybody else that we were testing. So we have a very simple editor, so I can now review these caption files. Oh, let's see if we get audio if I start playing
think
this.
It's a brilliant feature which will change education forever, because all of a sudden now we've got students and teachers and parents interacting with a video clip, which means that they can get the best out of that video clip and distill the knowledge that they really need to master.
So there you go. So that's auto captioning. That looks good. I can go ahead and publish it. And that was a real one. I promise I didn't can that. That's really what it feels like. Obviously, the quality of your audio is going to determine how good the captioning is and how clearly you speak. So this same partner does the transcripts for NPR, and they achieve about 97% accuracy there. So that's something to aspire to, if we can all talk like we're on the radio. I'm going to show you a couple other things that I alluded to really quickly. One of them is going to be student-submitted videos. So I am logged in as an instructor, and I created an assignment here that is, I want you guys to describe the War of 1812. It's probably uncool of me if you know that I'm Canadian. I got to do something else here. Anyway, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and let me flip over into a student account. I've created an assignment that said submit a video explaining what that's all about. If the file upload submission type is available, I can go ahead and click on this ARC tab when I'm logged in as a student. So this is a student. If they click on this ARC tab and it's the first time they've ever used ARC, they don't even know what it is, it creates an account form automatically, logs them right in using their Canvas login. I can now say, yep, here's the video I want to upload. I can also upload a new video, or I could link in something from YouTube. That's what this little ad flow looks like. Once I have the video that I want, I go ahead and select it, and I submit it, and I already have, so I'm not going to do that again. I already have like 5,000 submissions here. And then this is where I think it gets really powerful, and all those use cases I was alluding to earlier I think are amazing, because I can come in and I can grade them against a rubric like I always do. But beyond that, I can also watch this video, and I can give annotated feedback in that timeline on their performance. And this is something we're hearing just like every week. We hear about new use cases people are using this for. The marriage of ARC with its interactive comments. I have some really thoughtful ones in there, I apologize. And SpeedGrader is really powerful, and we're seeing this used in just a whole bunch of different applications. I'm sure you guys are all thinking of different ways that you guys can use this. The last thing I want to show you here is analytics. And there's a lot more to see here, of course, and you guys are always welcome to come by the ARC Lounge, and we're happy to show you more or schedule a demo. Let me go ahead and show you what analytics look like. So one of the biggest questions that we get asked, I get asked this a lot with companies especially, of what's the perfect average length for a video? And my answer, what I want to say is, depends how boring you are, right? If you're super boring, like, do a 10-second video, because no one's going to watch any more than that. People don't like hearing that, and they certainly don't like relaying that message to like professors and stuff. So I've had other people come and say, I've been trying to convince my professors for years to shorten their videos. How many people have you dealt with? I'm seeing some nods. Okay, don't worry about doing that anymore. What you can do is you can say, look, they're not watching. And that's a much easier conversation than I have better philosophical thoughts about this than you, because that's not going to go anywhere. But if you can say, look, here it is, like 8 people started watching this video and then they dropped off. Now you only have 4 people finishing out this video. That's a powerful way to think about how can I make my content better and take it away from the philosophy and put it more practical. If you're in a smaller course, you can even go a step farther, and you can say, hey, I want to see how much this student watched. It looks like they watched about a minute. It looks like this student watched, of course, the whole thing. Seamus, that's topical, right? Seamus watched the first minute and then skipped to the end and watched the last bit. And so that gives me classic Seamus, right? Come on, Seamus. So yeah, really excited about what we're doing with analytics here. This is all powered by the Canvas data backend, and this is going to continue to get better over time. We have so much stuff that we're excited to work on. We're always happy to talk to you guys about it, share a roadmap and that sort of thing. But we're having tremendous success so far. We're really excited about what's happening here. A couple more details that I want to show here. This is included in your, the auto captioning feature I demoed first. That's included in your ARC subscription. We are going to approach it the same way we approach storage in general, where we look at how people use ARC, and we set limits that only apply to like 2% of the super users. So we just don't want you to have to worry about it, and we'll establish those thresholds after about 6 months of open season on captioning. So I imagine that in 6 months we'll say, okay, your license includes 10 or 15 minutes or whatever it is of captioning per license you purchase. Like I said, 90% accuracy is about what we see there, and then you can fix them up, and we have a lot of other things we're going to do to continue to improve things there. Yeah. 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 You're partly testing yourself and your accent, and you're also partly testing our engine. But yes, you totally could. I think that's a great use case. Yeah, absolutely. I think foreign language is a great opportunity for auto captioning for sure. Yeah, these are the languages that are supported, by the way, out of the gate in our automatic captioning. And so if you have a worldwide campus or you have courses that are given in other languages, these are the languages that we support. It's also very easy to download those captions if you want to go translate them into another language or fix them up in your more robust editor than what we have. Come see us at the ARC Lounge. My email is gentry@instructure.com. I want to make sure we have plenty of time here for questions. Yeah?
How long does it take to transition to ARC? So right now we have Culture and Moss is looking at ARC. How long
Yeah.
does that take?
So it totally depends. So we can flip on ARC in like a minute, and it's available. If you want to transition content from another provider or from Canvas, it usually is just as quickly as we can get the data from you. So as soon as we can get the video files from you, it's pretty fast. We see large institutions turn around in less than like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can move quickly. Yep. Yes. You're good.
I use YouTube a lot.
Uh-huh.
Not just because it has automatic captions, but also because it includes nice tools for either syncing a transcript that you've
Right.
already written to those captions,
Yep.
or doing it on the fly.
Mhm.
You type, and as you type, it stops.
Right.
Is that something that you're looking at? Because I really like it.
Yeah, we're really interested in, so he's asking about YouTube, uses YouTube for synchronization and for building captions from scratch. We're super interested in making this as useful as possible. Our goal here is to support institutions that don't have the money to go pay necessarily to have all of their content manually captioned, which is kind of the alternative, which I think is most institutions. And so we want to make this a very cheap, simple tool. There's always going to be use cases where you want to go farther than that, and YouTube's got a great editor, and that's a great place to go, and you can always download those and use them in ARC. So yeah, I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes?
Is there any inclusion of quizzing in this and interface breakup?
Stay tuned. Quizzing is what he's asking about. I'll talk to you guys about that like really soon here. Give me like a couple months, all right? Yeah. Interactive downloadable transcripts. Yes, this is something we're talking about. We love captions, and we think that's the right first step. We're also really excited about having full transcripts where you can explain what's happening in the video in addition to just having the text. We're trying to figure out the best way to make that a seamless experience with the caption editing that you're doing here and not make you duplicate effort. But that's certainly something that we're wanting to figure out. Yes? I don't have a timeline right now, but we're in like kind of the design phase of working through what those might be. My guess is it might be something we do early next year. It's probably not something that'll fit into this year because of the other question. Yeah.
Are there any plans to implement desktop video recording and/or screen capture?
Yes, that's something we're super interested in. My team's expertise is in like web. That's where we're focused. And it turns out with screen capture, you need to have native applications or extensions, which is crazy, for a little longer. I think Chromium is going to save us in a couple of years here. But we're planning on finding a partner that we'd be able to provide screen capture with. That's something we're actively working on. I don't have a delivery date right now, but I think it'll be in the near future. Yeah. Yes. Oh, and by the way, if you're using a screen capture tool, you can generate the video. You can always just drag and drop that in there, but we're looking for something that's easy to support, that's built in and integrated, where you can just say record from within the software and have it send you out there. Yeah, there's a question back here. So if I heard you right, it's for student-submitted video, is that covered under Tier 1 support? Yeah, great question. So this is our software, so we support it. So if you have support for students, then we would support it in the same way. And that's one of the great benefits of ARC is that you're not like saying, who do I talk to about this? It's all the same support team, same CSM, so we'll take care of you there. Let me get a question over here, yeah.
Are you guys thinking about maybe one day creating something where basically you are able to record something live and at the same time the instructor is able to immediately give comments and the video will capture everything
Mm.
and not afterwards. Like right now you put a video and then you watch it and you make comments.
Right.
But you do it live
So-
while everything is happening.
Yeah, questions about live video and active commenting while you're doing the live video. That's something we're super interested in, and if you want to come by the booth, I'd love to talk to you about it a little bit more. We have put a pretty firm line, at least for the next year or two, where we're not thinking about live. We're really focusing on the asynchronous delivery, but we're also really interested in partnering with tools that do live and figuring out how there can be really good, pass back and forth there. Looking at Fred, yeah.
Are there any case studies or data in the collaboration component of that?
Great question. So the question is if we have any data around the efficacy of collaboration as it relates to learning, I assume. So we launched in October, so we're generating a lot of data, and we probably have enough that we could go and do a case study. We haven't yet. We have the literature that we're relying on from a philosophical standpoint, and actually Belhaven did a great session right before this about the data that they're digging into. So don't have any case studies yet, but we're very interested in writing some. Yeah. Yes.
Is there any limitation on the file size of the
File size limitation, great question. We don't want you worrying about that stuff. But because people make mistakes, we put a 10 gigabyte limit on a video. So I'm a little sheepish bringing that up because it shouldn't matter. But no, we don't have it. And ARC is separate storage from your Canvas storage. That's another question that usually gets asked after that. Yeah.
Question. So on discussion board, if you make RPG,
Mm-hmm.
how would that look like if you have a thread on top of a thread?
Yeah, it's a little complicated sometimes. So.
Would that make it look easier to grade, or how would that look?
Yeah, great question. So this is about graded discussions in particular. What does it look like when you have ARC in a graded discussion? So what we recommend generally is, the timestamped comments are what is really powerful with ARC commenting. But if you're in a graded discussion environment, we don't have all the robust support for having a graded ARC discussion yet. So we recommend that you do a commentless embed there. So turn off comments within ARC, have them just use the regular discussion functionality and use that for grading. We've had other people do you have the video with all the comments, and then you also have comment replies and have that work okay, but it requires a little bit more hand-holding with students to make them understand what's expected of them and how it's going to be graded. Yeah. Yes? Yeah, with ARC, you're able to scrub around and play any part of the video that you're looking for. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, we don't have a jump back 10 seconds yet. No, we just have the timeline that you can click on. That's something that we've heard a couple of times and we're thinking about. Great. Those are great questions. Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, Ted. Buddy. Okay, man, I made Ted a promise and I broke it. Ted is our user experience researcher guru. He's the man. We're super invested in getting feedback from all of you and helping make this the best product possible. Not only ARC, but all of our products. Ted is the man for that. If you guys are interested in being part of those research studies and conversations and interviews and that sort of thing, he'd love to scan your badge so he can follow up with you afterwards. So he's this guy right in the back. He'll have an army of scanners, it sounds like, right? Okay, awesome. Yes?
You see what this looks like for SpeedGrader's new teacher app?
Man, I'm excited about the teacher app, and I know about as much about it as you guys do, which is probably a big failing on my part. I know that we have ARC working in the dedicated SpeedGrader app, and I'm really hoping they just transferred that right over, but if not, we'll get it straightened out really quickly. Great question. Yeah? Yeah. That's one of the reasons we're so excited about auto captioning is because it's going to make it easier to do, within video searching. I don't have that scheduled yet, but this is definitely a step in that direction. It's one of the big reasons we're excited. Yeah.
I was wondering, when you're discussing the name of the study where they gave this lecture in person,
Mm-hmm.
what was the name of that study?
I can get you a link afterwards if you want to just catch me. Yeah, great question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Great question. So she has a bunch of lecture videos already on YouTube, and she's wondering how she could get them into ARC. So you have two options. One of them is that you can work with our migration team, and we can actually help you get those videos. Either the links, we can scrape through the channel and take those links and put them in ARC for you. Or you could download them if you have them anywhere else handy and upload them into ARC. It's totally up to you, but we can be flexible there. We've got a really great migrations team that's just all about trying to remove headaches there. Yeah.
And to jump onto the migration stuff,
Yeah.
currently we have a lot of teachers that use PlayPosit to do some of the
Mm-hmm.
anything in the works in terms of migrating existing videos.
Oh man, good question. So once we, in the future, have video quizzing, will we be able to migrate from other platforms that do video quizzing as a question? I don't actually know enough about, PlayPosit in particular, or Edpuzzle, about the data format that they have. I assume there's not like a standard format that they all share that we could, leverage, but we'll have to dig into that when we get closer. It's a great question. It'd be awesome if we could, make that really smooth for you. Any other questions? Yeah, we're totally going to support Vimeo. I don't have that scheduled yet, but it's something that we have started working on, and it's going to require us to upgrade our version of Media Element if you want to nerd out a little bit, which we want to do anyway. So I'm imagining it'll be something we get to pretty quickly. I have it scheduled. Actually, it's coming to mind. I scheduled it recently for Q1 of next year. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate you being here.